Hey friends, welcome back to Just Call Me Viv. Welcome to this first episode of my video podcast. And today we're going to talk about learning how to rest without feeling guilty. It's something that as women we've been sort of conditioned into thinking that if we rest and pause, we're not getting ahead of life. So somewhere along the way, we've learned that rest became something that we had to earn, like a gold star for productivity, for being good. But what if rest isn't a reward at all? What if it's the way that we come home to ourselves? Boy. Hi, I'm Vivian, and this is Just Call Me Viv. This is my podcast. And as I mentioned before, it's my first video podcast. I wear multiple hats in my life. I'm a mother, daughter, counselor, sister, lawyer, friend, advisor, caregiver, and a woman who's still learning how to make peace with slowing down. It can feel really hard. So if you've ever felt guilty for resting at all, like you should be doing something, fixing something, doing a load of laundry, then this episode is for you. So let's take a breath together and grab something to drink. I typically have cafecito sometime along this time in the morning. So here's a personal story. A few weekends ago, I happened to have a Saturday where neither myself or my daughter had any commitments. And so we had Saturday for ourselves, and I promised that I was going to watch movies with my daughter. No laundry, no emails, no chores, no productivity, just being quiet. And by mid-morning, I was pacing the kitchen, going back and forth, sweeping, doing small tasks, because I realized the silence made me really uneasy. I felt like I should be doing something, should be doing something more. And that's when it hit me. I was thinking of my daughter. Even when I'm still, my mind is constantly going. It's running laps. And somewhere deep inside, I learned that rest feels suspicious, that stopping means that I'm falling behind. And I grew up watching women in my family move constantly, wearing multiple hats. They cooked, they cleaned, they cared. They were always in motion, always taking care of others, always putting others' needs before themselves, constantly sacrificing themselves and their rest and their ability to heal. And their value is really measured not by what they gave and not by how they felt. And here I am, like decades later, repeating the same pattern, carrying the same story in my body. When I try to rest, my nervous system doesn't know what to do with all of the stillness. I had a hard time keeping still. And I see this pattern everywhere, in my work, in my friends, and in myself. We've been taught as women that moving equals meaning, that doing makes us worthy. But here's what's actually really true is that rest is repair. It's the moment your body and your spirit finally catch up to your life. So without rest, you can't really hear yourself or your voice. And rest is really emotional safety. So when we stop, all the feelings we've been postponing start to surface. And that can feel scary, right? We've been suppressing emotions. So yeah, it's scary, but it's also where our healing starts. And rest is not the opposite of ambition. It's actually the soil where ambition grows. So when you rest, you're not quitting. You're actually recalibrating. I used to think that rest made me weak, and now I see it as one of the most powerful things that I can do for myself and for my creativity and for my peace of mind. So let's turn it around and reframe rest instead of feeling guilty about it. So rest isn't something that you need to deserve. It's something that you need to create space for and protect. And so the more you let yourself rest, really, really, really rest, the more clear and grounded and inspired you're going to feel. And that's how I feel. Rest is really a kind of rebellion. We're saying like, no, we're going to do this for ourselves. It's how we begin to trust ourselves and our intuition again. So here's your small, gentle practice for this week. Just one. I want you to take an hour just 1 hour a week, 1 hour for yourself, not for your children, for your job, for your spouse or your partner. What if change wasn't a reward, but a rhythm that you create in your life? And set aside this hour to do absolutely nothing. You're not going to check your phone. You're not going to be productive. You're just going to notice kind of what comes up for you. Maybe it's the guilt. Maybe you're fidgeting. Maybe it's the urge to check your emails or your phone or sweep the floor. I don't want you to fix any of it. I just want you to sit with it and notice it. And that's actually the work of learning to sit with rest until it starts to feel safe, until your nervous system starts acclimating to actually getting some rest. So you're not lazy if you're resting, and you're not falling behind, and you're learning to exist outside of the noise and the chaos of being busy. And that's really sacred work. You can rest even when the world keeps telling you to move and keep going. And you can choose quiet. You can choose yourself over others. And that's okay. So thank you for spending this small amount of time with me today. If this episode spoke to you and resonated with you, I'd like you to like, subscribe, or share it with someone who might need permission to slow down too. We're learning together how you rest without guilt. So until next time, please take care of yourselves. And thank you for joining me.